Hey, Tony Gaskins here, popping in for another episode of Talks with Tony. Not sure how many I'll get up today, but clicking on this message here with you. Oh, okay. She said, sorry, my message is really long, but it's not as long as what I have seen. So we're going to jump on in. Hello, Tony. I'm 25 and my boyfriend is 23. We have 3 kids together. Okay. Y'all been kind of busy at a young age now. He is the first and only person I've been with. I got pregnant with our first at 19 after barely knowing each other. The first time we did it, he forced himself on me and I just stayed with him. I had very low self-esteem and things weren't good at home. During this time, I also believed he was sleeping with his half-sister, but never had full proof. I don't know why I stayed, but I just felt like I was stuck. He was also emotionally cheating on me and texting other girls and his ex behind my back. I wasn't taking care of myself and we got pregnant back to back. I stayed with him even through all of this because I felt weak and like I couldn't leave. He was always emotionally unavailable and used to have sex with me in my sleep, even after I cried to him that I didn't like it. As time went on, things got worse. We broke up only for a short week, got back together, and we lost our apartment and had to move back in with my parents. During this time, he was flashing his private part to my mom. For weeks, she didn't tell me about it. I was going to leave, but then he broke down and told me he was molested as a child and a teenager by men that he needed help. I even tried to get him into therapy. During this whole time, he was talking to other women and looking up that he's still in love with his ex This whole relationship, it just made me feel depressed, and at the time I felt like I can barely get out of bed for years. I was really depressed, went through panic attacks, and this is only a little part of it. God delivered me from all of this. Also, over the years, he joked about wanting to heal people and eat them. And then when I would confront him, he will say it was a joke. I think I brought it up too many times and now he denies all of it and acts like he never said it. I have no proof of him saying it. I finally started working a year and a half ago and started my walk with God, and I felt I was set free and ready to leave when I messed up. I slept with him one last time and got pregnant with our third. My whole pregnancy, he was emotionally unavailable, still sleeping with his phone in his pocket. I feel I backslid completely, and then after our third daughter was born, he has been supportive and loving, and it seems like he has changed. I'm really confused. It seems like everything never happened. I don't know if he really has changed or if this is an act of God, or if this is an act. God has really delivered me from all this, but I guess I'm unsure about the relationship. Can't seem to leave. I don't know how custody would go if I did leave, and I have no proof. Help, please. All right. So, okay, well, that right there, I'm finna go ahead and write my resignation letter. Okay, turn this on into the Lord. Resignation. Well, listen. Okay, all right. Okay, here we go. Okay, sister. Now, I'll be honest with you. I can't really speak on this. Okay, and everybody in the comments, you got to listen to this again before you say something. Let's refrain from name calling and shaming and bashing and all of those things. Sis, what you're going to have to do, I don't recall if you mentioned a job, but you're going to need therapy, because this is beyond the scope of a life coach. You know, a life coach is more so for people who kind of already on the right path, kind of already, in a decent place and just need an accountability partner. You got a lot of healing that has to be done. You got a lot of trauma. You got a lot going on. That's something for a clinician. Life coaches are not clinicians. So I really don't speak to things that are out beyond my pay grade. Although I'm paid more than 99% of therapists and counselors, that's just how the mop flops and the cookie crumbles. They still have read the books and taken the tests and gotten the degrees, which is comprised of years and years and years of human study, human behavior. So understanding the terminology to label these incidents in your life and his life, and then having a treatment plan for you. Whereas a life coach, we based off of God's wisdom. But when you use certain words like depressed and, molested and all of these things like that, that's where you get into childhood trauma and things of those nature that life coaches, we working off God's wisdom. And so it would be kind of reckless for me to speak directly to your situation. Now, generally speaking, what I would say is you're going to have to keep, in addition to your therapy, you're going to have to keep getting the knowledge of self, getting the knowledge of men, of relationships. And you mentioned God several times. So God is trying to reach you, trying to deal with you. And what you feel in your spirit, that's what you should do. When you know God, when you talking to God, if you feel like, hey, it's too much that's been done, we can never right these wrongs, right this ship, I need to leave. That is something that's a personal choice. That's a personal choice. I can't tell you to leave on a situation like this when you got all of this right here mixed in there. He has a lot of issues going on, and you have issues of your own. Ironically, I knew this letter just by looking at you, I knew this letter was gonna be pretty traumatic when I seen your picture, because you fit inside of societal standards of beauty. It looks like, the 3 kids. I could see a little fullness in your cheeks, probably from the 3 kids and going through all of the emotional things. I could see that there's some, it's been some times you beat up on yourself, just in the way you treat yourself, the way you carry yourself, and not fully loving yourself. It kind of costs you a little bit. But based on what America or the world says is, pretty or attractive, or, whatever word you would use, you fit inside of those constructs. And so the issue with that, and a lot of times, is no one gets to choose their DNA. So when you are born into a world that is wicked and sinful, and you have what the world says is attractive, but you don't have representation or protection, meaning a good father or a really good mother. When you don't have those things, you are kind of thrown to the wolves. And so a lot of women who look like you, from the age of 2 or 3, start to become victims to wolves and savages. And from a young age, you are stripped of your self-worth and your self-esteem. And you said right here, I had very low self-esteem and things weren't good at home. So, this was 19, and I could see it. I could see the pain in your eyes. Just the thickness in your mascara, around your eyes. You kind of putting blinds over the window to your soul. The arch in your eyebrows, the curl in your hair, even how it cover one half of your face. It's almost like you want to hide behind a veil. And because of what you've gone through and because of what you have experienced, it pushes you and positions you to be taken advantage of. And the same way I read people and the way I could read a picture and read a person, although I can articulate it, it is something that kind of every man has. And honestly, I believe God gave men that ability because we are also hunters and warriors. And you got to be able to read and assess danger. And be able to read a person to tell if this is a threat, an enemy, or an ally. So I believe that ability in men is innate, but men misuse it and use it in relationships. So every woman to a man is like a window. You're like a window, not a mirror. And a man can see right through you. And he knows if you have low self-esteem. He knows if you've been stripped. And the guy that you're dealing with, because of what he's gone through, he was seeking someone that's weaker than him, someone that he could sift like wheat, someone that he could devour, because he's been devoured in his life. And then he told you about what happened to him as a young boy at the hands of savage men, which may or may not be true. You don't know if it was something that he used for sympathy to trap you and to keep you stuck, or if it's something that's real, and that is why he's saying he acts out the way he does or does what he does because of that. Typically, I struggle when a person knows or they pinpoint what their issue is and then yet still continue to do wrong as an adult. Because sometimes, humans are conniving enough to weaponize their victimhood. And having been a victim and knowing that a lot of people who have gone through this do this. And so they say, hey, that happened to me. And they may have normalized it, may have even overcome it, may have it may not really affect them as much, but some people will take and use that to operate from the evil side that they feel, because we all at war spiritually. We all in spiritual warfare. Every one of us has good and evil in us. And so sometimes people can see where they can get away with doing evil because they have something in their past that they can hang their hat on and say, this is why I do this. But once a person can identify the problem, I expect an adult to address that problem and start to heal and fix that problem. When a person continues to operate from said place, that's when my antennas go up. And if a person knows better but still continues to do wrong, that's when I would have to remove myself from that situation, because that's a dangerous person. And so you gotta listen to what your intuition is telling you. And in your heart, in your spirit, I would say, because the Bible talks about how the heart can deceive us, but I think a lot of times we misconstrue that, and we don't understand that what the Bible is alluding to is that when you lean on your heart, your own understanding, then it leads you astray. But when you lean on God's instruction, And what God is telling you, that's your intuition. So do not stay if your heart says, this is too much, I need to hit the reset button, I need to start over with my life and start from scratch. Don't stay. If your heart, if your intuition, God's spirit whispering to you says he's done a 180 in his life, he's turned around and he's going in a new direction, and he's done the work to show that, because he just ain't gonna wake up and be that way. You don't know why he could be acting like this. If he doesn't have a real relationship with God, he hasn't gotten therapy, you don't know why he could have no other option right now. All his other women cut him off. He could be carrying a STD that is incurable, and he feels like he needs you because no other woman will want him. He could have some really bad news that he's getting ready to break to you, like a whole nother family outside baby or babies, and he's being extremely nice just to butter you up, so when he hits you with that blow, it's not a knockout blow, and that you can get back up from it, because he's been so nice and you're hanging on to all this niceness that he's been. So it could be several reasons why he's acting the way he's acting. So you kind of gotta really pray on this, protect yourself, pay close attention to the signs, and make the decision. Something like this right here, I can't advise you or make a decision for you. There's something that this pretty traumatic, so you definitely need to go get therapy. We have some therapists on mymentor.life. It'll say it in their bio if they're a therapist. Some therapists now can do stuff by Skype and by phone. There's some laws have been changed, because this is mymentor.life is for life coaches, but there are sites like mymentor.life that has therapists. That's for therapists, not life coaches. So, and they coaching people all over the country. So I'm guessing some laws have changed in therapy. But that's really what you're gonna need. I could speak to it like a therapist, but I'm not a therapist, and so I don't want to be liable for dealing and addressing terminology that you've used in this letter in more than a brotherly love type of way. So everything I've said here today, that's just what I would say to you if you were my sister, and you are my sister in Christ, but not as a clinician or a professional. I'm saying that's to you like a brother. And so listen to this a few times, pray on it. And one thing I could say is, deep down what you need to do. Deep down what you need to do. Deep down, what this looks like, what it feels like. You've been here before. Where things seem so amazing and cool and everything. That's how you got into the situation, by being lulled to sleep. So you've been there before. So you just got to assess it and really see, and just ask yourself, like, okay, this is what I'm seeing, but is this a representative? Is there work to back this up? Is there some substance behind these actions? Has there been several sessions of therapy? Has there been a come to Jesus moment, rededicating his life or giving his life to Christ through salvation? Is there some evidence like that behind this perceived change? And if not, then you can rest with your intuition, knowing that the best decision to make. So now I want y'all to understand, everybody who watched this now, understand this. Now you see, when stuff get real serious now, you ain't always could talk about stuff so lightly. You feel me? Sometimes you got to be serious on stuff. So y'all understand that I could do both now. I could be lighthearted if the question is you're not in danger. But this here, it's a little deep. So sister, God bless you. Get all the resources you can. Get all the resources you can. Go on TonyGanslerAcademy.com. I'll put the link in the description. Several courses. I think one of the courses is called When to Let Go. Get all the resources that you can. Okay. God bless you. We'll talk soon. This was 20 minutes, so I should have time to run off me one or two more of these. God bless y'all.